Welcome to another episode of Melissa's Menu. Summer has flown by. It's now time for back to school, sweaters, apple picking, and of course fall foods. Since it is my favorite season, I can't wait to start making foods that will warm the soul. I've called tonight's show The Great Pumpkin. These are recipes that have pumpkin as their main ingredient. I hope that you will enjoy, and I'm very anxious to hear from you, by the way. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, feel free to email me at melissasmenu@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and start. Our first recipe is pumpkin mousse with cinnamon whipped cream. Does that not sound fabulous or what? Everything is right in your mixer here. I've actually put my whisk in the freezer, and I like to do this when I'm making any sort of dessert that calls for a whisk. You'll want it nice and cold, so I'm just going to grab that. Attach this. One of my very favorite kitchen tools is my KitchenAid mixer. And this recipe just has a couple quick ingredients. We're starting with our main ingredient, of course, which is pumpkin pie filling. So we have 1 cup of pumpkin puree, and this has been cooked, of course. To that, I'm adding 1 1-ounce envelope of vanilla pudding mix. Easy enough so far. Pour this right in. The great thing about this recipe, everything goes right into the bowl, and that's it. Super, super simple. To that, we're adding 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Oh, it smells delicious. So 1 teaspoon. Add that. Next, we're adding 1 cup of evaporated milk, which I have right here. And then 1 cup of regular whole milk. Okay, that is it, folks. We're gonna put this on. Okay. Absolutely gorgeous, right? Sprinkle some cinnamon. And there you have it. Pumpkin mousse with cinnamon whipped cream. Okay, next up is our pumpkin soup with apple cranberry relish. We're starting with a large soup pot, 2 tablespoons of butter into the pot, medium-high heat, a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, or a little bit more. I love olive oil. We are going to just melt this. First, we're going to cook our vegetables. Don't you love this sound? Oh, I love the sound of the butter. Smells good too. So the vegetables we have for the soup are 2 stalks of celery, 1 medium onion, diced as well. This is just a regular yellow onion. You can use a Spanish. I guess you could use a red onion if you wanted to. We're going to add 1 bay leaf to this. This gives it a nice flavor. We are going to mix this together. Pot holder here. And this is going to saute, or soften, I should say, about 6 to 7 minutes. We don't want the vegetables crunchy. We want them nice and soft. And we're just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Vegetables are coming together nicely. We're just going to set this aside for a couple minutes. Okay, our vegetables are done cooking. Now we're going to make a little roux. We're adding 3 tablespoons of flour. And we definitely want to bump up the flavor. So we're adding 2 teaspoons of poultry seasoning. Awesome, awesome spice. Pretty strong tasting. Okay, so we have this going on. And now, oh, by the way, if you don't have any poultry seasoning, you can always use some ground thyme as well in its place. Now we are whisking this together. Okay, now for the good stuff. We're using 6 cups chicken stock. Continuously whisk this, by the way. We want this to come to a boil. Scrape up all the little pieces. Okay. Crank up the heat. Again, we want this to boil. Now to this, we want it a little creamy as well. I'm going to run over to the refrigerator and grab my cream. 2 cups heavy whipping cream. And of course, this is going to be the soup's thickening agent as well. So we are adding oh, and I almost forgot my secret ingredient, a little bit of nutmeg. Anytime you're using a soup with a cream base in it, I like to always add a little bit of nutmeg. It's that one thing that makes you go, what is that flavor? Very distinct flavor, just maybe a half teaspoon, but it packs such a nice punch. Okay, we want the soup to start boiling, and once it does, we can add our main ingredient, which is our pumpkin. Pumpkin is actually very healthy for you. We're adding 28 ounces of the pumpkin. Now, while we're waiting for the soup to boil, we're going to make our relish. This is really what makes this recipe, I think anyway. It's a cranberry apple relish that you're going to put right on top of the soup. Has a little crunch to it. It's sweet, savory. Wait till you see what's in it. Okay, we have a 1/4 cup of diced red onion. And the reason I chose the red is because I want to give it some color. The yellow just wouldn't cut it. So this is just about a 1/4 of an onion. To that we have 1 chopped apple. Before I put the apple in, I just want to show you something. See how this is a little brown already? I literally just chopped this maybe about 20 minutes ago or so. In order to keep the color, what you want to do is just add some fresh lemon juice to it. Definitely add the fresh lemon juice right when you chop it. Okay, so we have 1 cup of diced apple. Any kind of apple is fine. 2 tablespoons lemon. Perfect, just enough. To that we are adding a 1/2 cup of chopped dried cranberries. These are craisins. Talk about gorgeous. Look at the color. Oh, this is going to taste so good. Add these right in. To that, we are adding a little bit of honey. 2 teaspoons of honey. Give it some nice sweetness. We have our honey. And now we're going to give it a little bit of spice. We're adding some chili powder, believe it or not. Just a 1/2 teaspoon. Less or more if you like. I don't like it real spicy. Okay, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. This is bubbling. Let's whisk this. We're changing gears. We'll come back to that in just a minute. I don't want this to set too long. What we want to do now is finally add our pumpkin. It even matches. Everything is orange today. So be careful this doesn't splatter. Add in this whole can right into the soup. Oh, it smells delicious in here. beautiful this is already. Now watch the color. We want this to be nice and thick. Again, we're whisking this together. We want this to simmer maybe 5 or 10 minutes just so it gets thick. Look how beautiful. I'm going to turn up the heat a little so this will thicken. Let's finish our relish right over here. I believe we have all of our ingredients. We have the nice crunchy apple, little spicy onion, fresh lemon juice, some craisins, some sweet honey, all the flavors of fall. Let's mix this together. And this is it. This is our relish that we are going to put right on top. I'm going to grab my beautiful white serving bowl and plate up some of this wonderful fall pumpkin soup. Now, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Seriously, this looks like it came from a restaurant. I'm not trying to brag, you guys, but it's really pretty. Pumpkin soup with cranberry apple relish. And I'm going to try it now. Oh, wow, it looks good. Make sure I get some of the relish in here too. Wow. I'm not big on pumpkin. This is to die for. So easy to make too. Okay, we're up to our last recipe, pasta with pumpkin and sausage, an earthy, hearty, delicious comfort food. We're starting by browning a pound of sweet Italian sausage, or whatever kind of sausage you like. I did this ahead of time, so I'm going to take this and just drain it onto a paper towel. Make sure they're cooked thoroughly. And we're going to chop this a little bit later. You don't want the leftover fat here, so we're going to drain this into a cup. Back to our pan. We have it on about medium-high heat. What we're doing first is adding a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And I'm just going to scrape the bottom of this pan, kind of deglaze it a little bit. Take my whisk, try to get up the brown bits here. Anything on the bottom of this pan is going to give it nice flavor. So we definitely want to keep everything in here. Okay, let's skip this part because it doesn't want to deglaze. We're adding some fresh cloves of garlic. I have 4 right here. Adding this. We'll let this cook for a few minutes. Just want the garlic to get a little bit softer. And then we'll add some onion. While that's doing its thing, I'm jumping over here so I can chop my sausage. And however big or small you want the sausage. I kind of like doing the diagonal. Careful you don't chop your fingers. Sausage and pumpkin go really, really well together. I think you will love this recipe. I can hear our garlic sizzling, which is great. We don't want to burn that, so make sure it's not too high, okay? I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing and add our onion. We have just one medium yellow onion. Add this right to our garlic. How can you go wrong so far, right? Onion and garlic. Great, great combo. Oh, love the smell. As I always say, garlic makes everything taste better. Let that do its thing for a minute. While that's going on, I have over here in my pot of boiling salted water, a pound of penne pasta. We want this cooked maybe about 10 minutes or so till it's al dente. Make sure it's not sticking together. A little trick I like to use is just add a little bit of olive oil to the water as well. It helps with the starch. All right, so that's doing its thing. Leave that alone. Jumping back over here. We're just cooking this for about 5 or so minutes. We just want this to soften. Love it already. Let's finish chopping our sausage. This is another very quick recipe. You can do this on a weekend or even during the week. I consider this a 30-minute meal. If you can prep anything ahead of time, even the night before, even better. Your onion, your garlic, stuff like that. Beautiful. Whoop. I make the biggest mess when I cook, by the way. I'm sure you've all figured that out by now. I like how you can see the olive oil in here. Beautiful. Okay. To the garlic, we are adding some wine. 1 cup of dry white wine. I like to use wine that I would drink. That's my suggestion. All right, 1 cup of white wine. Don't worry, everyone, this will burn off. Your kids can have this for dinner. Don't fret. To that, we are adding 1 cup of chicken stock. We'll use the same measuring cup. I just have a little can of it right here. I love chicken stock, by the way. I use it a lot in my recipes. Just about a cup. Again, this is going right into our skillet. What else should we add to our sauce? We have our chicken stock, we have our wine, some onion and garlic. We want this to come to a boil. Turning up the heat. Well, how's that saying go? If you don't like this heat, if you don't like the heat, get out of the kitchen. After this comes to a boil is when we will want to add our cream. Now, the store actually ran out of the heavy cream. I'm using some light cream. Again, you can use milk, you could use skim milk, whatever your heart desires. Okay, so we're adding ½ cup. And to this, we're adding 1 cup pumpkin puree. So I've gone through, 3 cans of the puree tonight. Beautiful. Love the color going on here. Time out, you guys. I just want to make sure this is not overcooked. Nothing worse than overcooked, chewy pasta, right? Okay, stay right there, you guys. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, it's done. Okay, back to cooking. Now be careful because pan's getting a little full. Look at this, it's beautiful. Can still smell the wine, so it's not quite cooked all the way. This is going to be quite the presentation. Wait till you see what I have at the very end. I don't want to give it away quite yet. We want this to boil. Then I'll add our cream. Again, I have a ½ cup of cream right here. I'm going to add 1 bay leaf as well. Let's get a large one. Again, if you have fresh bay leaves, perfect. They pack a lot of flavor, the fresh ones. Again, don't forget this is in here. 2 other ingredients we'll be adding in just a little bit. What do you have to have in the fall? Cinnamon and nutmeg. Pretty much every recipe consists of both of those ingredients. This is just about coming to a boil, I can tell. All right, folks, we're adding our sausage. So our sauce has come to a boil, which is exactly what we want it to do. Now we're going to turn this down a little bit, add a few more ingredients. We have our sausage that we cooked earlier. Be very careful when you put this in. And I have this sliced pretty thin. Okay, hopefully we can get a nice zoom on that one. Okay, to this we're adding our cream finally, a ½ cup. I just love cooking. Oh, I could do this all day long. A little bit of ground cinnamon, just a pinch. We don't need a whole lot. Beautiful. Put a ½ teaspoon of nutmeg. This I do want to measure. This is pretty strong. Again, if you have the real nutmeg, I kind of wish I used that with this recipe. I don't have any with me, but definitely use the fresh if you can. Now what we're going to do is add a little bit of salt and pepper. Just a little bit here. And we've already salted our pasta water. Very important step, by the way. Pasta really has no flavor to it unless you add some salt. Okay, what we're doing now is mixing this together. We want this to simmer for about 10 minutes. We're almost done. After this, we're simply going to add our pasta in, and then for our secret garnish. All right, I'm going to let this stand here just for a couple minutes. I'm moving over to this side of the counter, and I'm going to start chopping our garnish. Fresh sage. All right, we're taking our sage, just kind of twist it around like this. Give it a nice chop. This is called julienne style. When you have it nice and tight at an angle here, I'm not holding this knife correctly. This is not a great knife, but that's okay. Oh, sage is just so earthy and just so rich and goes so well with pumpkin. So nice with pumpkin. All right, I think we're ready now. We are going to take our pasta, put it back in our pot. And simply transfer our sausage mixture into our pasta. Make sure you remove the make sure you remove that darn bay leaf. Where are you? This could take me a while. I'll see it when I pour it, I'm sure. Don't worry. Don't worry, everybody. You're not. Don't worry, everybody. Let me know if you guys see it. This is like a two-person job, or maybe I just need to grow some more muscles. Okay. Beautiful. Scrape up every little bit of sauce that is in here. Okay, now mix this beautiful concoction together. Now wait to see my presentation. Make sure we get lots of our sausage. We have our nice pumpkin mixture. What a hearty, hearty meal this is. Now what you want to do, top it with some yummy sage and some salty Parmesan cheese. We have our beautiful sage. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Love it. And then just some nice, fresh, grated Parmesan cheese. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Now, do you guys mind if I try this? Okay, here it goes. Make sure I have a little bit of sage. Wow. Very hearty. You can really taste the sausage. The pumpkin gives it a fantastic flavor. The sage and of course the Parmesan cheese. This will feed your family for days. Very good. Okay. That is all the time we have today, folks. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Melissa's Menu. Special thanks to our underwriters, Mike Mata, the California Plumber, Emerald Excavating and Supply. Don't forget their new location. They are also in Carver. Check them out. And of course, A.L. Pedrozzani and Sons Painting Contractors. Join us next time to see what's cooking up on Melissa's Menu. Good night.